7 generations setting the kitchen table. Great-great-grandmother would ladle, doling plates into the hands of whoever will take them. Never pressed to turn and see their faces, so grateful to hear their voices mingling like shuffled paper. The terrace doors ajar, the air aloft with cedar bark from the trees where the cars once inched painfully along, but now they're all forgot. 5th generation never even heard the melancholy honks. 2nd generation takes a break from warning the pots are hot to rest their elbows on the railing, yells hello to the neighbor, hey Chico, el kettle is on. Youngest generation lost in the tablecloth, searching among the ankles of the uncles and the aunts, not sure what she's looking for, not sure what it was. Never the same, ever again, never the middle, never the ending, never the start, never fully actualized, but never a loss, and never the cause, and never a consequence, and never a reason to stop. Like a starling murmuration, the bicyclist careen, never to work. The youngest have heard of such things, but think it absurd the machines are many-handed. And it makes light, but that's an aside. Back to the limes and papayas, the apricots right, the bikers be biking to eat. The grid of the megalopolis has a plot like the Severy 70 streets, taken for all of us, taken for granted. But can you imagine it? Once there were famines and families scrambling, balconies hammered with cannons, and when you asked them when it had happened, they said, it's still happening, kid. Never the same, ever again, never the middle, never the ending, never the start, never fully actualized, but never a loss, and never the cause, and never a consequence, and never the reason to stop. Been taught the way that the 2nd took over the hospitals did, but the doctors would not. How they beckoned and got it, but praying the dogs wouldn't martyr them. How the way caught the bus only saw what it had gotten them, peaches and pears in the garden, but never the ending, never fully actualized. Always the middle, never a given, only a second for pause, but cycle in the steady center of friends, for example. But do not tremble, the answers in the handbook, the inheritance of those who defend the splendor. Born a month and 5 days after the word computer, and in the same general time frame as the electric bike, she and her flowered bonnets, ribboned and toy pianos survived infancy. She survived infancy and the exodus north. Just follow the drinking gourd, the exodus north, and ice and coal and ivory soap and ice and periods of excitement before the violin, string by string, gave out. But nonetheless, flower decorated, sit there and play and sing by the hour, but nonetheless, we don't take colored. But nonetheless, she extended upward nearly 3 octaves, a gay ribbon trailing nearly 3 octaves. Nonetheless, she struck 2 keys at the same time. The chilling thunder in her struck 2 keys at the same time. The aristocratic hi-hats and p-fouls and silks and sealskins, imagining themselves the elect of the human race were no match. For the circle of fists closing, the circle of fists closing, the circle of fists closing around picket handles. A brotherhood and a federation and a Congress with a threat in common uplifted her. Wouldn't it be marvelous if history was a straight line? Never again having a fake fine, never again stone or a stick, barber charges, all of a canine or a reason to trip. Instead it moves like a broom, catching what it can't from the grooves, reaching back to catch what it couldn't in the first few swoops. To the loose is made smooth. They did their part, and now that they're dead a few years, they're heroes, and now we are called to do ours. And I know it must be difficult to hear. I see your eyes opaque with the reflection of the enemy as it nears. But we are not exceptions to the theorem, expected to step up into our power. History is never a permanent state of being, but if you never reach for it, how will you know how it feels? And so we move like a broom, catching what we can from the grooves, reaching back to catch what we couldn't in the first few swoops. The loose is made smooth, and so we move like a broom. The loose is made smooth, catching what we can from the groove, and so we move like a broom, till the loose is made smooth. And so we move like a broom, catching what we can from the grooves, reaching back to catch what we couldn't in the first few swoops. The loose is made smooth. Come on, everybody now. Circle up, circle up. Don't be shy now, come on. Circle up, circle up. Even in the land of the lemon tree, even when the bell for dinner rings, even when you think there's no such thing as an enemy. Sorry to break it to you, darling. The cost of living in a dream is on occasion. Y'all are called to wage a war for peace by any means. Mom, it's dark. Mama, there's someone at the door. Mama, I smell smoke. Mama, I forgot this gun that she asked me to hold. Tell me again how it loads. Duck! Okay, deep breath in, deep breath in. Okay. We're doing great, we're doing great. Okay, deep breath out. Are you ready? Are you ready? Deep breath in. Okay, here we go. After a couple of steadying breaths, follow the steps. One, prevent their advance. Great-great-grand with a gas can, dousing the couches and chairs to hurl from the terrace. Flaming barricade check. Second step, mounting a counter-offense like a startling murmuration. The cycle is condensed. Moving as one, as two, or even three if it's needed. It really all depends. Like appendages bending to formation, like fingers of a fist, or like a volley of arrows falling through the air of a battlefield, or a wagon wheel. It smokes and a lacing down around antagonists. And then there are those with marimbas, and then there are those with the horns, then there are those with the rhythm, that pitter-pattered ham bone on a mission-critical role to give us the soul we need to overcome, to make sure we remember what we've won. Body in formation now. Circle up, circle up. Like a startling murmuration, the cycle is condensed, forming into formation, like fingers of a fist, or like a volley of arrows falling through the air of a battlefield or a wagon wheel. It spokes in a lacing down around antagonists, like the bristles of a broom, catch 'em when they can from the grooves, reach back to catch what they couldn't in the first few swoops.